Hello, everybody. It is Sandy. I'm so glad to welcome you today. I have a special guest, and it's Dana Parisi. Dana is a certified parent coach from Heartstrong International. She has been working with parents and educators, and she's done some amazing work. And she just has a book that has just become an international bestseller. And the name of the book is The Parenting Marathon. So I would love to introduce you to Dana. Dana, welcome.
Hey, Sandy. It's so nice to be here with you.
Yeah, so Dana, tell us about your book. I know it just went to international bestseller status, so congratulations. I've mentioned it to my community. Some of them probably have purchased it and might be reading it. Some of them might not know about it. I'm sure they can grab it. They can still grab it on Amazon, or probably is it in bookstores as well, or will it be, or is it best to look at Amazon right now?
Yeah, but right now it's in Amazon and the ebook is out. That launched on the 12th, and then the paperback will be coming out like in a couple of weeks, I guess. I actually have it. It
Oh,
came
let
with
me see.
proof claim,
Here,
yes, like the author's copy. So
read
I'm just looking
read
at
the
the more.
subtitle again. Read the whole title again.
Yeah, it's Parenting Marathon, the 10-step guide to navigate parenting challenges.
Excellent. So this is specifically for parents, and it's about the process of parenting. And Dana and I were just talking about how parenting really is not a sprint, it is a marathon. It's something that you have to look at the long view when you're making decisions from day to day. So I'd really love to hear from you. Obviously, many people will buy the book to read more, but just give us kind of the overview of what is the message that you want parents to come away with when reading the book, and what are some things that they can learn when they read the book.
Okay, those are good questions. So I think the first thing that comes to my mind is when I was writing it, part of the inspiration was in my harder parenting seasons or my parenting marathons. There were some of them that I felt were really alone, really isolated, like no one really understood what was going on in my home. No one could relate. I didn't feel like I could be real vulnerable with people. And that's a tough spot to be in when you feel alone. So, part of my hope with this book is that parents will feel not alone in their parenting challenges. And they come in different shapes and sizes, but they're endurance events. If it's a parenting marathon, it's an endurance event. It's prolonged. A running marathon is 26.2 miles. And so I kind of joke in the book that a parenting challenge that lasts more than 26 days, 26.2 maybe, is a parenting marathon. So the book is designed to equip parents who are in a parenting challenge to persevere and to be equipped to take care of themselves and to have things that they can do. It's really tempting, and maybe you can relate to this. Like, we want our things for our kids, or we want our kid to be fixed, um,
Mhm.
and to start with focusing on what do we need to do to persevere and to have courage and to have hope in our parenting journey.
And I love that you're just calling this a parenting challenge, because that could mean so many different things to so many different kinds of situations, right? And parenting challenges could be our own challenges that we're going through as a parent, as well as the challenges that our kids may be facing, whether it's a behavioral challenge, or maybe it's a diagnosis of some kind, or maybe you've had some kind of really big crisis in your family that's coming from the outside, that's affecting your family. There's so many things that we can go through and that we will go through, because life is going to life, right? And we're going to go through those seasons of change and difficulty. So I love that really anyone can probably glean some wisdom from what you're sharing. So what are some of the top tips? I know you said it's a 10-step process, but what are some of the things that parents can do when they are experiencing a challenge with a child?
So one of them, I think that's maybe a good starting point, is thinking about our goals. And I think we're all making goals in our parenting, whether or not they're written down or we've like verbalized it. But a lot of times, like families that I'm working with, our goals are focused on what we want our kids to do different, or like to stop having meltdowns, or to go to school consistently, or to get off technology, or whatever that is. So one of the steps is focusing on goals that we have control over as the parent. So how we're going to show up, maybe what we're going to do different to affect those transition times where our kids tend to have meltdowns. So setting goals that we actually have the ability to impact, because we really can't change someone else, as you know, we can't change our kid and how they're going to react, but we can change parts of how we show up and how we set things up. So that's
That's
one of them.
beautiful. And I love that because you're right. So many parents do come to parent coaches saying, I've got this kid, he's got this behavior challenge. How do I fix this behavior? And that's kind of the top of mind, that's what people, they're struggling with, but they don't realize that it's coming from what is the environment this kid is living in? How are we showing up? What are we doing to make them feel like they can be successful in whatever it is that we're hoping for them, right? So all of those things that we do personally have control over are so important, and we often forget how important that is. So I love that. I really love that, and I hope parents can learn to set those kind of value-based goals, right? Like what's the kind of person I want to be? That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Is there anything else that you want to share about some things that they can learn from the book?
Yeah, I think one of the so part of the inspiration of the book was my own training for an actual running marathon, and I've done two of them now, and it's hard, it's challenging. And as I was training, I was thinking, boy, the things that I'm doing different to be successful are, if I tweak it, are things that I really need to do to be successful as a parent as well. And one of them is self-care. Like, so in running a marathon or training for it, I thought about eating healthy and getting enough sleep and, taking care of myself in those ways. And it didn't necessarily feel that selfish, but when it comes to parenting, it can feel like I'm being selfish taking care of myself because I've got so many people who need me and so many demands on my time. So self-care is one of the topics in the book. And, you were I laugh in the book that when I first thought about self-care, I was like, I don't have time for that. What does that even mean? And you were one of the influences to help me slow down enough to like really incorporate that better into my life.
Yes. Well, and thank you for that. And you mentioned in the book that you did come to us for some parent coaching first, and then you became a certified parent coach after that. So you really started out struggling just like many of the parents that are watching us today. And then you set those goals and you achieve those goals, and now you're helping others do the same. So it's really a beautiful story of your accomplishment through all of the difficulties and challenges in your own life. And it's beautiful that you've written a book about that to help other people.
Thank you. Yeah, I tell my clients all the time, I'm in the trenches still with you.
Yes.
As a parent, I'm in the trenches.
And I want to tell all of you that are listening to this, that's why Dana is such a powerful parent coach, because she can speak to the actual lived experience of what it's like to raise a child who's having some challenges, or to have a family who has a challenging dynamic for whatever reason, right? And so if you are listening to us today and you're thinking, ugh, I don't even know how to set goals for myself or my family, I would really strongly encourage you to reach out to a parent coach. You can reach out to Dana and we'll give you her information, but any one of our certified coaches can help you to do that, to work on your own goals and because I feel like even myself, I went to 3 different parent coaches before I started parent coaching. It's a different experience when somebody else is helping you, kind of like a Sherpa up the mountain. You don't want to climb Mount Everest by yourself. You really do need somebody who's been there and knows the territory and can guide you through the crevices that, away from the dangers that you might have. So that's Dana's story, and that's my story as well. So strongly encouraging any of you who are considering working with a coach to do that. So then pivoting away from the book a little bit, I'm excited that you've written this book. So tell me, in your work as a parent coach, because you're a graduate of our certification programs, how is your business going? We've talked before, we have another video of when you first started doing your coaching. Now you're writing books and you're speaking and you're doing all kinds of things. So tell me a little bit about what it's like for those who are thinking about becoming parent coaches. What's it like after you've graduated from the program? What has it been like from that point until where you are now? And what advice would you give to anybody who's thinking about becoming a parent coach?
Yeah. Okay. That's a lot of questions. Let's
I
see
know.
here.
I have a lot of, you can pick and choose any of that and just
Yeah.
go, what comes,
Yeah.
what
I
would you
mean, first,
like to know?
first I would say I'm really glad that I did the program. So glad, I was like had my doubts and stuff, and I'm really glad that I did it. One, it improved my skills to do what I'm doing. And two, it also just gave me the confidence to put myself out there and to let people know that I'm available to help Sherpa people up some of those mountains. So after I graduated, I just started kind of letting people know word of mouth that I'm doing what I'm doing. And I started a very simple website, just bare bones and email and things like that. And then really I started getting busy when I connected with some county services in my area in Wisconsin. And that's a program called CCS, where Medicaid is paying for mental health services for people that qualify. And so I'm just one of the options that people have. And that's a beautiful thing because they're already qualified. And then I get kind of constant referrals, which is so nice as
Yeah.
a
Well,
very
let me
small
stop you there
business.
for just a minute. I just want to make a point of that a lot of people think, well, how do I, if I'm a new business person, how am I going to get my name out? You started with word of mouth. You don't have to do like a massive Facebook ad campaign or go public speaking everywhere. Like just talking to all the people you have a network to start with. And I love that you've partnered with an organization that's already serving families. A lot of our folks who are becoming parent coaches in our programs, that's exactly how, and that's how I started. That's how I started my parent coaching, was that I started working with family agencies in town, two different agencies, just to get the feel for what it's like to do the work, and also to, you have a paycheck while you're building your business. So that was super smart of you. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. And then so how has it gone since then?
Yeah. So, I mean, currently I am as busy as I can manage with my family and my 4 kids. So it's a great spot to be though. I'm like as busy as I want to be and have to really be careful right now, managing my own boundaries with work and being able to say I can't take anyone else right now and starting a waiting list. So that's where I'm at. And I'm also just taking time to do some writing and to be a part of a writer's group. And that's kind of part of what got my book finally off my computer and into print.
That's
So prioritizing those different things as well.
Yeah, so there's a lot to balance, right? When you're a business owner and you're also a parent and you have a large family and all of your kids are super involved and doing cool things. So it is a lot. So how do you do that? How do you balance that? Because I'm amazed at what you've accomplished and you're still standing and doing well, apparently.
Yeah, that's a good question. I just decided what my hours were going to be for work and that they were going to be within my kids' school days, so 8 to 3 really Monday through Thursday are my work days. And the nice thing about having my own business is if I need a day off or a morning off for writers club or my writers group or a speaking event, I just block it off on my work calendar so no one can schedule with me during that hour and they just have to find the next available time. So that helps.
Isn't that the best? That's the best for me. It's not about the income, although that's nice because you can charge, for different kinds of clients, you can charge very well depending on the client. Or if you're working for a company that does that marketing for you, you've got contracts with them. But I love the freedom. I love the fact that I don't have to be at a school from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. every single day. And if I'm going to take a day off to go do a speaking event or something, I would have to create sub plans and it's just so complicated when you have a position that requires you to be somewhere every single day from all of the work hours. It does not give you flexibility. So for me, that really was I would say that was the first reason I went into starting a business. But then when I saw the impact, the way that it impacts lives, the way that when you're in the trenches with somebody like that, like you said, there's really nothing like it. Like that coaching process. Um, can you speak to that? What is it like for you when you're helping a family that's struggling? How does that feel?
Yeah, I mean, for one, I feel like each family I work with, like everyone who listens to this is unique. They're unique in what they're struggling with and also their current capacity, how much energy they have left, how much creativity they have left in handling their
Yeah.
situation. So I really enjoy that part of it, is just there's not a right or a wrong, just figuring out where each person's at and working with them to decide, where do they want to focus, or where do we need to focus our attention? Is it on their own self-care to start with so that they have a little bit more margin, or is it looking at some more specific things happening in their home and thinking about options for how to approach that or how to minimize some of the more negative things.
Yes, and that's so true that every family really has a different situation, but I think all of us can benefit from some of those just self-care skills and helping ourselves to become the person that we want to be so that we can then help our young people become the people that they want to be, right? Because we can't do one without the other. You can't do parenting without also kind of parenting yourself as
Yeah.
well. So that's fantastic. So tell us a little bit about how people can get a hold of you if they want to work with you as a coach, and anything else you want to say about the book, or anything else you want to share with our audience.
Yeah. So my main website is livestouchedcoaching.com. And then the Parenting Marathon has a website too. It's parentingmarathon.com. So if you can find the book eventually, the paperback book will be on that website, which will be nice, but it's also on Amazon, which is nice and easy for most people. Yeah, I was super excited because during the launch, it did go to like #1 international bestseller, which was so fun to see. I mean, really, that was largely to speak to the support network that I have in my life, friends and family and people I've worked with and people they've worked with, and just how my friend said you were all over Facebook that day, which is because people were sharing, which
Yeah.
is really great. And I think a lot of people can identify with parenting being challenging. So
Yes, especially in these times. We've had some rough years here in the last few years, and any little bit of encouragement or support I think that families can have right now is really helpful. Whether that is, you can work with a parent coach for sure, but having those networks, having those supports around you, really plugging into your own to community groups that can support you, I think can also be really helpful. So if anybody's listening and saying, ugh, I didn't even want to run this marathon anymore, right? I encourage you to reach out, and there are a lot of free resources. I know Dana and I both have free resources on our websites. Um, there's so many people that want to help and that can help you. So don't go it alone. Find somebody that can support you. And I know Dana will do a great job if you reach out to her. If you have questions if you're thinking about becoming a parent coach, we also work with those who want to do educational training in the schools. And I know, Dana, you've done some of that as well with Head Start. So if you would like to learn about becoming a certified parent coach or a certified educational trainer, you can reach out to me at support@wingbuilder.com or go to our website at heartstronginternational.com for more information about that. All right. Any last words before we wrap up, Dana?
I would just say thanks. Yeah, and encourage each of you to take a deep breath if you're in a tough parenting season. I have to remind myself to take deep breaths all the time. So just like Sandy knows, you're not alone. You're not alone in your journey. Reach out to someone, Sandy or me or a friend, family member, a neighbor.
Breathing is important. Breathing, and many of us forget, right? We forget. Just take a deep breath. This too shall pass. It's not the end. It's part of the marathon,
Yeah,
day by day, step by step, right?
absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Dana. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.